far away. Also, those who watch this race, Pacific Elite, don't be afraid to have a look at Pacific Open as well. Tier 1 and Tier 2 racing at the same time as us. Still taking a little while for the video to upload. Might just quickly check the Discord because I just had a comment then, so it's definitely up and running. Let's see here. There's so many tabs. There it is. Race live streams. Scroll. There it is. So the stream's up. Chat's up. Hello, ACW. Yeah. Very fitting there, ACW. Very fitting indeed, considering the location. But everything is running as it should be. So hello and welcome everyone to round 2 of the PlayStation Pacific Elite Championship. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this evening, and this time we're racing at Shanghai International Circuit for the Chinese Grand Prix. This 5.45 kilometer 16 turn circuit was opened and first used in Grand Prix racing in 2004. Since that point, Shanghai has been the definition of mediocrity in Formula One. It's not an overly bad racetrack, but it isn't exactly one you would shout about or give praise to. There are a few overtaking opportunities around the circuit. Drivers can try and pass with the help of DRS into turn 1 and into the tight right-hand hairpin of turn 14. They can also try and pass into the hairpin of turn 6 that Ghost Rider is coming up to now, and potentially into the chicane of turns 11 and 12. There are a few sections that the drivers have to be wary of. The opening 4-corner complex can be a scene of carnage, especially on the opening lap, and the high-speed bends of turns 7 and 8 that Ghost Rider is coming through now has claimed quite a few drivers over its lifetime. Arguably, the biggest piece of work they'll have to deal with is a slightly banked sweeper of turn 13. Due to its cambered nature, it's very easy to lose control of the back end of the car. So as drivers make their way round, they'll be trying to maximize speed through the bend and for the following kilometer-long straight, but also trying to keep control of the car and try and not spin out, which is very easy to do. Seen it on several occasions as a commentator. And I can tell you as a driver, going through that section is not a lot of fun at all. Hopefully we do get to see some good racing tonight, but don't be surprised if we don't. This is Shanghai after all. But before we focus on qualifying that's happening right in front of us, there is a little bit of news from last week in Portugal. There was only one major incident report of note, and that was a penalty removal for Bags Liddell. He was incorrectly given a 5-second penalty by the game. That was successfully removed. So Bags jumps up from P11 to P6 in the final result. So the top 10 from Portugal looks like this. It's ACW, who wins from Alex Patto, then F1 Ferrari Pro, that's the top 3. Spilly P4, Pledge P5, then Bags in P6. Tenselman drops to 7th, followed by BP V8, Hillers, and then Roscoe rounds out the top 10. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. Not much from last week in Portugal, so it would give us a lot of time to focus on qualifying. Thank you very much, Ferrari Pro, for telling me it's dry for both sessions, so we shouldn't see any wet weather interference here in Shanghai, which is good. I much prefer dry weather racing compared to wet weather racing. Wet weather racing tends to be quite boring. So I believe the first driver to set a flying lap will be Silverford, the Singaporean driver. Exits the final turn, opens DRS, crosses the line, and that's the benchmarker, 1 minute 32.506. I briefly read through the Pacific Elite chat earlier. I saw times of about 30.5, so currently, from what I saw from the Discord anyway, Silverford's 2 seconds off the pace, but the pressure, the conditions in this session, very, very different compared to when you're practicing. So we'll see how Silverford compares to the rest of the field in a few minutes' time. Ghost Rider set to 36.2. Andre does a 33.6. He's a second off Silverford. Teague is coming towards probably the best overtaking spot on the circuit. There's a couple more drivers set times. Turn 14, this tight hairpin You got the kilometre-long straightaway before it, so you get plenty of slipstream, plenty of tow, plenty of use of DRS, and drivers have the opportunity to send it down the inside into the tight hairpin. Keeg comes across the line and jumps up to pole position with a 32 flat. Pretty nice lap time from Keeg there in the Ferrari. Pump is coming towards the end of a flying lap. One more corner to negotiate, turn 16. It's a bit of a handful at times, this corner. Sometimes it's quite easy to understeer, run wide and put all four wheels over the white line on the outside of the corner. If you do that, of course, you get yourself a warning. And it's also a bit easy to cut all of the inside at turn 16 and cop a warning that way. ACW coming around turns 14 and 15. There are two corners through that little complex there. It's ridiculous, but according to the official track map, that's two turns, and we just have to accept that. It's ACW, there we are, 1 minute 31.527. He's half a second clear of Keeg. BP V8 getting ready. Alex Patto getting ready. Ferrari Pro getting ready as well. Hillers is coming up to the first sector split. 24-2 in the first sector. He's apparently purple to that first sector. Roscoe Arm coming to the end of a flying lap. He's coming down the kilometre-long straight towards the hairpin of turn 14. Well, we'll take advantage of this. Ferrari Pro is going to start a flying lap here. Give you a guided tour of this 5.6 kilometre 16 turn circuit. Heading down the main straight, underneath the grandstand that can only be described as a spaceship. Around turn 1 and into turn 2, essentially a continuation of turn 1. Very tight through here, very tedious. Through turn 3, then into turn 4. Similar to turns 1 and 2, turns 3 and 4 basically continuations of one another. Around turn 5 and into the hairpin of turn 6. Not a bad overtaking spot here, turn 6, especially early on when the field is bunched up. Up towards the left-hand sweeper of turn 7. You have to keep it flat. Oh, slight downshift there from Ferrari Pro, but a lot of speed carried through the corner. Around turn 8 and into turn 9. Fairly tight complex here. Very easy to lose control, especially with using no assist. Up towards the chicane of turns 11 and 12. Another finicky complex. You have to be very careful on the throttle, on the brakes. Around this sweeper, turn 13. As I mentioned earlier, it's very easy to lose the back end there. But you can see there from Ferrari Pro, kept the car nice and straight. Opens DRS, heading down towards the hairpin of turn 14. Probably slam on the brakes at the 100-meter board. There it is. Brings it down to second gear. Now around this brief right-hand kink of turn 15. Yes, that's a corner. Then around the final corner, turn 16. Using all the curve on the outside, opens DRS, crosses the finish line and jumps up to P2. Pretty respectable that. 1 minute 31.928. BP has just invalidated his flying lap, so he might be going back into the pits. Bags getting ready to set a flying lap, currently 13th on the leaderboard without a lap time next to their name. There goes a... yes, it was an Alfa Romeo. It must have been Roscoe Arm, I think. Around turns 1 and 2. This place can be a real pain to deal with, especially on the opening lap. When you got drivers side by side heading into the first turn. It can be a real scene of carnage. Coming around the insignificant kink of turn 5 into the hairpin of turn 6. Quite a nice helmet there, Bags. Nice red, black styled helmet. I like it. Around turn 7, see there, just a hint of a lift. He went down to about, I'd say 95, 96% throttle there, just ever so briefly. Around the double left-handers of 9 and 10. The back end, I think, stepped out. It was a bit difficult to tell from that camera angle, but I think it did step out. Around the chicane of 11 and 12. Now into the tricky turn 13. Drivers running no assist. This will be a difficult corner to get around, but Bags does a pretty nice job. Legs is also on a flying lap. He's making his way around 9 and 10. He's on the soft compound tyre, unlike Bags, who's on the mediums, or a lot of understeer at turn 10. Fortunately, he didn't get a warning and then invalidate his lap. exiting turn 15. Hayes has got one more corner to negotiate. Turn 16. That will also be a bit of a hazard to look out for. Turn 16 with its awkward pit entry as Bags jumps up to P5 with a 32.8. Silverfort, he's invalidated his lap. Ghost Rider and Tinselman. No, Tinselman's invalidated his lap too. Down in P12. Plebs a few more corners to negotiate, or rather one more, but he's actually backed off quite a bit. So he's bailed out of this flying lap. Somehow doesn't invalidate there at the final turn. He's going to have another go. Set a 34.4, but that's definitely not respective of what he can do. Coming around the opening complex now. This snail-like section. And that's Andre, who's had a big spin, and Ghost Rider has crashed. He might have just done an Alexander Albon, I think. First car to come to the scene will be Tinselman. He starts a flying lap. Here we go. Coming up. There he is there. Well, maybe not quite a Alexander Albon. Maybe more accurately, that was a Antonio Giovinazzi when he spun out in 2017 when he drove for Sauber. Oh, and there's a big spin from Illes. Maybe that's what Andre did on his flying lap. That was a huge spin. Maybe the inside tyres rubbing on the curb, unsettling the car. That was a huge spin. The car just let go. Grip.exe just stopped working on the Aston Martin. Unfortunately for Hilles, he didn't end up hitting anything. But this lap is basically worthless. So he's going to lose a few minutes here in this qualifying session. BP coming out to turn 4, around turn 5, up to the first sector split. He's yet to set a lap time. He does a 24.2 to the first sector. Coming around turn 7 now. Small lift. Oh, and a big twitch from BP. Oh, drivers don't have a lot of grip out there, it seems, here at Shanghai. And when the grip disappears, it disappears so suddenly. The spin looks incredibly ferocious. That's another driver in a different part of the circuit, but a similar result. Alex, in the middle of a flying lap, heading up to the second sector split. Just across the den. A 52.1, apparently purple to the middle sector, but I don't know how accurate that is. He's coming around turn 13 onto the long straightaway that follows. He's actually backed out of the lap. Interesting. Hilles will be getting ready to try and set another flying lap, or will he go into the pits here? No, he'll go into the pit lane. Interesting. ACW, according to the minimap, is purple to the middle sector around the long sweeper of 13. Into the long back straight. There is a McLaren in front. That's Plebs. Heading down towards the hairpin, he has DRS open. What's the speed climb? 310, 315. Hitting 320 kilometers an hour into the braking zone of turn 14. Overshooting the corner just a little bit there, missing the apex by about 2 meters or so. Around the final corner to complete this flying lap. Opens DRS, crosses the line, and improves by half a second. A 1 minute 31.057. Clear by 8.5 tenths to Ferrari Pro in P2. Roscoe Arm coming up to the first sector split is well down, so he's not on a competitive flying lap. Power side though, he's up by 2 tenths in the middle sector. I mentioned earlier at the beginning of qualifying, I was wondering whether Silverfort's 32.5 was competitive at the beginning. But seems it's quite competitive. He's still P4. So he'll be pretty happy position-wise right now. He's 1.5 seconds off pole position, but he's still P4. His power side jumps up to P7 with a 32.965. Speaking of which, Silverfort getting ready to set another flying lap. He's currently on a out lap. ACW, I believe, is on an in lap. With 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, it's going to be fairly tight for ACW to do another flying lap. I think he will make it, but yeah, be pretty close. Black Moon getting ready. Roscoe, oh, he has jumped up. Look at that. But he was 4/10 down in the first sector, really. He's jumped up to P8 with a 33-1. Huh. Well, there we are. I didn't think he was on a proper flying lap, just based off what the first sector said. But no, he was. He was on a proper flying lap. My mistake. Tinselman getting ready. Current PB of 47.8. Don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out that's not competitive. Let's see if he can complete one solid lap here with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the session. Around turn 1. Brings it down through the gears, down to third for turn 2. Keeps it in third. Interesting. You tend to see drivers drop it down to second here, but Tinselman, he keeps it in third. By doing that, he keeps a lot of traction through the corners. He can go on the throttle a little bit earlier and know that the back end won't suddenly step out on him. The sacrifice by not going to a lower gear is that you don't get the same rotation. You get less rotation if you're in a higher gear. Coming around turn 9, then turn 10. There's yellow flags in the first sector. It's just a driver going slowly, I believe. Tinselman, he's currently matched his PB, so I'm guessing the majority of time loss he had on his personal best was here in the third sector. Exiting 13, that was actually rather tidy there from Tinselman. No hint of oversteer or understeer from that Alpine. Ferrari in front, warming their tyres up, getting ready for their flying lap. Roscoe retires in the pit lane, so he's satisfied with P8. I'm pretty sure he's done that on the mediums as well. Tinselman with one more corner to negotiate. That would have been a bit awkward getting around the Ferrari. Tinselman up towards the line. 31.6 from Tinselman. Jumps up to P2. That's a great lap time considering the pressure he would have been under to try and complete that flying lap. So that's a great job from Tinselman. Alex in the middle of a flying lap. Coming up towards the hairpin of turn 14. Alex proved to be very competitive over in Portugal. Does he have the same pace here in China? One more corner to negotiate for him. Round turn 16, using all the curb on the outside, up towards the line, jumps up to P8 on the medium tyre with a 32.4. Just notice as well, Silderford has just bettered his lap time to a 32 flat. Ferrari Pro in the middle of a flying lap, heading up towards the middle sector, split, and he's up by just under 3.5 tenths. We need to improve by 9 tenths in order to take pole position, but I wouldn't put it past. It's not impossible, but it's a fairly tall mountain to climb in only one sector. As ACW retires in the pit lane, Andre retires on track. He's in 7th place currently. Around the hairpin. Don't know why the game stuck around on that camera for so long, but it did. Round the final corner. There's all the curb on the outside. Tinselman retires as well. Ferrari Pro jumps up to 2nd place. Improved by 7 tenths. How about that? Didn't get pole position by him, but improved by a huge margin in that final sector. Improved by about 4 tenths or so. Alex, he's going back into the pits. Black Moon on a flying lap, heading around the hairpin of turn 14, up by 2.5 tenths in the middle sector. One more corner to negotiate for the reserve Alpine driver. Using all the curb on the outside, up towards the line. Black Moon jumps up to 7th place, improving by just under 4 tenths to set a 1 minute 32.342. Bags crosses the line, jumps up to 2nd place, improving by 1.6 seconds out of nowhere. Set a 1 minute 31.153. Missing out on pole position by 1/10 of a second. There we are, Bags pulling his trick out of the hat right at the last minute. So he'll start on the front row next to ACW. It's quite a nice lap time. I think that's qualifying over here in Shanghai. We'll just be waiting on Hillez to retire. There we go. So it's ACW on pole position for the Chinese Grand Prix. Only just so, by 1/10 of a second. Look at that, just under 1/10 of a second, actually. Bags Liddell, a fine qualifying performance to pull out a 1 minute 31.1 right at the end of qualifying. He'll line up on the front row next to ACW. Ferrari Pro is next in P3, followed by Tinselman in P4. Then Silderfort in 5th, followed by Keegdog, Hillez, BPV8, Black Moon, and Andre rounds out the top 10. Then Alex, Players, Power Sight, Roscoe Arm, Pump, and Ghost Rider will start from the back after crashing out during qualifying. Just something to note as well, everyone inside the top 10 qualified on the soft compound tyre, so that's the tyre they'll be starting on. Everyone who set their best flying lap on the medium compound tyre, all of them were outside the top 10. The highest place was Alex Patto in the McLaren, he was P11. So qualifying on the mediums, it didn't necessarily work out track position wise, but it'll probably work out race strategy wise, because the soft tyre burns up far too quickly around here. I believe, if memory serves me right, it is mediums to hards here at Shanghai if it's a dry race all the way through, and we know that it definitely is going to be dry all the way through. So it'll be interesting to see how the soft runners fare over the course of the race. They probably need a little bit of luck with a safety car at some point. Session counter counting down. We'll get the formation lap underway just a few seconds. See what the drivers outside the top 10 decide to do in terms of strategy. I imagine none of them are going to be starting on the soft compound tyre. I'm wrong. One has. So as you can see, looking down the leaderboard, top 10, all of them starting on the soft compound tyre. Not a single one on the mediums inside the top 10. First driver outside the 10 is Alex Patto. The Italian is starting on the hard compound tyre. Wasn't really expecting that. It's a fairly ballsy decision because you're sort of backing yourself in terms of your own pace to keep up with those in front, not lose too much track position, and also to not make any mistakes. Because if you do, you don't have the hard compound tyre to fall back on if you get front wing damage or something like that. You can see the predicted tyre stop strategy, so lap 15 to 22 for the hard tyre runners. Next is Plebs in P12. He's starting on the more conventional medium compound tyre, followed by Power Sight starting on the softs. It's unconventional for sure, but I like the aggressiveness. You know, to try and make up positions early, get in and start mixing it out with the top 10 and compensate later on. But it'll be a fairly difficult race, I imagine, because those soft tyres do burn out awfully quickly. Roscoe Arm is next in P14 on the mediums. Same with Pump in P15, so they're on the same strat as Plebs. And Ghost Rider at the back of the field is starting on the hard compound tyre. Starting on the hard compound tyre in his position makes more sense. You're at the back, try and stay out of everybody's way, get a clean stint, and then put on the medium tyres and floor it at the end. He's probably relying on a little bit of luck as well to try and push him up the leaderboards. Perhaps a virtual safety car or a virtual safety car or a proper safety car or two will really help his cause. Anywho, the leaders are making their way back onto the grid. 16 cars, it's a fairly healthy field here in China. Not bad at all, and we got 28 laps of racing in front of us as well. Just be waiting on Ghost Rider to line up into his grid slot, and we can get this race underway. Here we go, we're all lined up, ready to go. It's 10 red lights. And we are underway here at Shanghai. Down towards turn 1 we go for the first time in race conditions. It's ACW in front, only just as Bags tries to fight down the inside, but he's unsuccessful. And a huge spin in the background. Oh my goodness, is that the two Alpines? No, it's Silverfoot and Tinselman. Oh, it is both Alpines. Both Alpines making some sort of mistake at the first turn as Silverfoot spins entering turn 2. Heading around the kink of turn 5. It's almost 3 wide here, heading into the hairpin of turn 6. A bit of biffing, a bit of barging as Hillers moves into 5th. Plevs and Keeg are side by side. Heading into the sweeper of 7, Plevs is in front. He is into P6. What a great start from him. Alex is a fairly good start as well from starting P11. He's up into P8 on the hard compound tyre. Around turn 9, around turn 10. So a bit of drama in the first sector with both Alpines and Silverfort in the Red Bulls spinning out at turn 1. They're now in 14th, 15th and 16th place respectively. Around turn 12 and around turn 13. Bags has lost a few positions off the start. Can bring up position change here. So Bags out there and another spin. That's Ghost Rider in the Williams. He's doing a bit of lawn mowing there on the inside of the corner. Into the hairpin we go. It's HCW from Ferrari Pro, from BPV8, followed by Bags, Hillers, who's got Plevs right behind, who has made up 6 places off the start. Keegan 7, followed by Alex Patto. Powerside up 4 positions, making full use of those soft compound tyres. And Andre completes the top 10. Coming down the main straightaway. Keeg applying pressure as Tinselman goes into the pit lane. So Tinselman getting damage on the first lap. So he'll be pitting in, probably putting on hard tyres, trying to do an extended stint on them and pray for a safety car. Will he have a go here? No, he's not close enough. I imagine everyone on the second lap will be looking to settle down from the opening lap drama. Just try and get into a rhythm and not make any mistakes. Coming out of 8 around turns 9 and 10. See the top 4 have their own little group. Then it's a bit of a gap between Bags and Hillers there. You can see it on screen. Gap of 1.1 seconds between the two. Around turn 11, then turn 12. And into the long sweeper of 13 where it's so easy to lose control through here. But the leaders keep it nice and straight. See there, BP actually using a bit of overtake through the sweeper. He is determined to try and get by Ferrari Pro. Looking down the inside. But it was only just a look. He doesn't commit to any sort of move. Top 4 starting to pull away now. Hillers, he's forming a train here. Got Plevs, Keeg, Alex Patto, Powerside, Andre, Roscoe, Pump, all right behind. Make that one less driver as Keeg spins out. I think he might have reset the track, I'm not sure. Didn't quite catch that. But he was perpendicular to where he should have been facing, and then suddenly he was facing the right way. He might have reset the circuit, I'm not sure. Sector 1 yellows, that is Keeg again spinning out. Drivers just pushing a little bit too hard where their tyres are too hot. Saw that with Silverford a few laps ago. So some good starts here and there. The two McLarens starting exceptionally well. That's a few less than ideal starts as well, looking towards the back end of the field. It's a long race in front of us. We've got a good 25.5 laps to go. This is your battle at the front. ACW from Ferrari Pro. Then BPV8 and Bags. That's the top 4. There's the chasing pack behind with Hillers, Plevs, Alex Patto and Powerside as Ferrari Pro goes into the lead with the help of DRS there down the long straightaway. Coming around turn 15 up towards the final corner. Roscoe overtaking Andre for P9. What does ACW do here in response? He's got DRS. He is closing in. Bit of battling going on as well. Hillers defending from players looking around the outside. You're not going to get it done there into turn 1, I can tell you that. Through turn 3 now. Plebs might be able to have a go into turn 6. He's got to run, he's close. Gilles knows that, so he's defending the inside line. Looking around the long way into the right-hand hairpin. Gilles, though, forces the McLaren wide. And hangs on to P5. Gilles with that inside line. Flexing off the power he had in that situation. Dictated terms, so he could hang on to P5. There's your top 4 again. Then the following pack. Still fairly tight. Hopefully it stays like this over the course of the race. Alright, down the long straightaway we go. BP's got a run here on ACW. He's drawing alongside the Alfa Romeo as they head towards the hairpin of 14. Will BP have a go on Ferrari Pro? The answer is no. ACW backs out of it as well, slots into P3. Yellow flags as Ghost Rider is out. Crashing out at the exit of turn 10. Probably just ran the outside tyres over the curb, lost all grip, and put it into the wall. Very easily done there at turn 10. Around the opening complex, it's Ferrari Pro in the lead, followed by BP. Pump is into P9, overtaking Roscoe. That was at turn 1 as well, so that must have been a pretty decent move from Pump. Probably a bit of respect being shown by Roscoe as well, just letting it happen. More than likely, I'm just guessing. Coming up towards the sweeper of turn 7. 210 separating the top 2. There's not much you can do here. If you're a driver stuck behind the car in front, just have to be patient and not make any mistakes. Coming out of turn 10. Top 4 fairly close to one another. You can put a blanket over all 4 of them at this stage. Alright, around the sweeper of 13. This is the critical corner. All 4 drivers appear to get around it pretty well. And here comes BP in the slipstream. Pulls out of it. With the help of DRS, he will take the lead at the end of lap 5. Ferrari Pro will slot into second. Plebs overtaking Gilles. But Gilles is having none of it. That's tight stuff into the hairpin. And Gilles pushes the McLaren wide. Heading around 15. Plebs hangs on to P5, only just. As BP goes into the pit lane. He's the first driver to go in off the soft tyre. Someone else has gone in as well. Keep an eye on that leaderboard. It's Power Sight in P10. Here comes Gilles. Tight stuff entering turn 1. And Gilles takes 4th place back. Thrilling stuff between these two. Plebs has the inside line. He's forcing the issue into the hairpin. They're side by side through turn 3. Around turn 4, Plebs can't fight back here, but he can try and fight into the hairpin at turn 6. But he knows what happens when he goes down. Around the outside of Gilles. Last time he did that, he was forced wide back end, stepping out briefly there for Plebs. He keeps the car nice and straight. Battle is still very much alive as Gilles leaves the door wide open. But again, with that inside line, he's able to hang on. But Gilles is having none of it. Again, Plebs is wide. There's Alex. He is closing in on this battle at a rate of knots. These two are battling each other very hard. Around turn 12. Then into 13. Gilles still in front, but I imagine not for long. Here comes Plebs. He's using up a lot of batteries. So is Gilles. In response, he's got his DRS open. Gilles defending the inside line here, heading into the hairpin of turn 14. It's wheel to wheel heading into the hairpin. Around they go. Plebs tries to get the over-under. There's Alex. He's just trying to get through unharmed. But the two in front are having none of it as Plebs moves into 4th and Gilles goes into the pit lane. Another driver in. Plebs and Alex now in P3 and 4 as ACW overtakes Bags. That is for the race lead. The Ferrari Pro has moved on to the mediums. Gilles has moved on to the hard tyre, and that is Keeg, who has spun out at 13. This is quite an easy thing to do. And that is a McLaren. That is Plevs, who has spun at the exit of turn 4. He is now dropped to P6. Fortunately, he's got a lot of clear track behind. So he's able to get going again. He just needs to be quite careful with the car, not to push it too hard because the tyres, they're very hot right now. They don't want to cooperate too much. All that battling, it's all been for nothing with that mistake. Pump. And he's got Alex Patto in his sights. Coming around the sweeper, back in, stepping out, and here comes Roscoe. He's got to run. Not close enough to attack here at the exit of 13. But what he can do is slot into the slipstream, use DRS and get by. Look at the battery. He's in single figures already. Lap 7. And Pump is pulling away down the straights. No trouble. That Mercedes-Benz, it's pretty quick down the straights. That setup that Pump has. Silverford under attack here as BP moves into 7th place. So just to know, BP, he's moved on to the mediums. Ferrari Pro is on the mediums. Gilles is on the hards. Power side on the mediums. Andre on the mediums. Same with Black Moon as well. So a lot of drivers who pit in, they usually pit for the medium compound tyre. Plebs comes in. He might have wing damage here. This is why he's coming in. Either that or it's sort of an impromptu stop. So front wing change here. The player's hard tyres going on. And he'll be trying to go to the end on those. It'll be a fairly lengthy stint, but I don't think it's impossible to go that long. These three pretty close to one another. And that is Andre. Spinning out. This is at turns 1 and 2. Now down to 12th. He needs to be careful now. Here comes Black Moon onto the scene. Black Moon might be able to capitalise here with Andre. He has tyres that are out to temperature, so Black Moon should close in a little bit. These three still fairly close to one another. Alex in P3, what an opening stint he's had. Kept out of trouble, making those hard tyres work really well. So I imagine he's going to put himself into a potentially race-winning position towards the end. But we'll have to wait and see, as both Bags and ACW make their pit stops. Pulling up to the pit lane entry, you can see they're 80 kilometers an hour. Medium tyres at the ready. And on they go for Bags. What about ACW? It's also a set of medium compound tyres. The way he leads. Oh, and Bags. Oh, hello. I think he's come out in front of ACW. So Bags has won in the pit stops. How remarkable is that? So was his stop quicker, I guess? Or maybe he left his pit box quicker? Either way, he's in front of ACW now. ACW wouldn't be too impressed about that. But, he shouldn't be too worried. He knows how quick Bags can be, so he won't be losing any sort of time. Now we got Alex in the lead. Those hard tyres, they'll be coming into their own now. 9 laps into a 28 lap race. Those hard tyres will be feeling pretty good. But though, he's still keeping up. He's within a second of the McLaren, so he'll get a bit of help from DRS. Close the gap to Alex. Try and keep up with the McLaren driver as best he can. Maybe even try and battle him if he gets himself into a position. Who knows? Rest of the field, though, at this point are pretty well spread out, as Pump understeers a lot at the final corner. But he closes in still because of the power of DRS. But yeah, I'll be quite curious to think what Pump and Alex are thinking right now. As Bags... Oh, hello, Silverford is in the pits. So Silverford is the last driver to get off the soft tyres that they qualified on. be chucking on the medium compact. No, the hards. Interesting. A few drivers opting for the mediums, a couple drivers opting for the hards. So we've got a fair mix of strategy going on here at Shanghai, which is great. Strategy races are always interesting, especially when it's all close. ACW still fighting bags, but not making any tremendous inroads on the Mercedes driver. Out in front, still Alex and Pump. He's close. Half a second back. I reckon he could challenge Alex here. Gets a pretty decent run at a 13 as well, so I wouldn't put it past the Mercedes driver. I reckon he'll have a go. And I think Alex knows it. Here comes Pump on the racing line. No resistance from Alex either. Just lets Pump get on with it. Oh, get on with it he shall. Understeers big time at turn 14. Pump just not getting the steering response he wanted from the car. Outbraking himself as well, more than likely, at the hairpin. So, yeah, Pump getting the job done, then immediately getting it undone. But drivers always have to be mindful of that. When you've got DRS and when you use a fair bit of overtake down the down the straightaway, it means the braking zone into the following corner is bigger. So some drivers don't compensate for that and they overshoot, just like Pump did there. Yeah, Pump getting no turning response whatsoever from his car because he entered the corner much too quickly. ACW has closed in on Bags as well. He's only 4/10 behind, but I don't think you'd want to battle Bags too much. You want to keep their pace up collectively. Keep it up as high as they can, because I reckon Alex is going to play a part in this race. He's got a fair old gap to Pump this time around, so I don't think the Mercedes will be able to attack. And Roscoe is still here as well in third place. On a more positive note, we're 11 laps in, no time penalties, which is fantastic. Got a few areas here where you can get penalties. Here at the final corner is definitely one of them. You get it at the exit of turn 10 as well. So no, that's really good to see. No penalties just yet. Let's see. You two going to do anything? Let's find out. Round turn 1 we go, up towards turn 2. I think they're just going to work together for a bit. Not battle each other too much. Try and close in on the cars in front. Oh, Alex! He has spun! And that's a reset to track as well. So, Alex, you'll get a slap on the wrist for that. But Alex spinning out. Oh, and Andre has spun out too. I think. Yellow flags definitely came out. Maybe he just understeered off the circuit. He's quite vulnerable here to Plevs. He was got to run out of turn 4. Andre leaves the racing line wide open. He doesn't want to fight, so he's down into 14th now. How about that? Alex making a mistake at turn 7. He's now 4.6 seconds behind Roscoe and only 1.5 seconds in front of BP, who was on fresher, softer tyres. Doesn't look great for Alex. ACW closes in, but not by enough as Roscoe goes into the pit lane. So the first driver who started on the medium compound tyre is pitting. And he's pitting on to the hard compound tyre. That is, of course, if you exclude Plebs who pitted earlier for damage. I just realised that. ACW, Bags, P5 and P6. They've got a 3.6 second margin to this guy, Ferrari Pro. I don't know how good these tyres are. Oh, hello. I can tell you how good Andre's tyres are. They're not too good as he's out, and we have a safety car. So Andre crashing out. Oh, I can't quite see from here. He's crashed out in the same spot Ghost Rider did. We have a safety car. So what did the drivers do? We're almost at the halfway mark at this point. Lap 13 of 28. I imagine Pump is going to pit in for the hard compound tyre, and there's a real chance that Pump will be leading after all these pit stops, because he's got a fairly healthy margin to the car behind. You can see they're slowing down quite a bit to try and not speed and get a drive-through penalty. That would really ruin someone's day, as Pump, to no surprise, does come in. I imagine it is hard tyres at the race. Oh, pull up. Good job. Alex pits in. BP pits in. Ferrari Pro pits in. Pump puts on the hard tyre. No surprises there. What about Alex? What do you do, buddy? Do you put on the mediums? You put on the softs? He puts on the mediums. Ferrari Pro, what about you? Coming up to your Ferrari stall. Medium compound tyres. Bolted onto the car. And Bags does not pit. Interesting. I thought everybody was going to come in. I am wrong. Yellow's pitting in for medium tyres. Parasite, what about you? Probably mediums as well. Medium tyres being fitted. Same with Tinselman. Here's Black Moon putting on some medium tyres. Nice quick stop there, considering it was a double stack. So good to see that patch actually works. And this has saved Plev's race a little bit. After what happened earlier, he'll be able to catch up, claw onto the back of the queue. Try and make up some places. Same story for Keeg, who's on fresh mediums. So Bags not pitting. He's on 4-lap-old mediums. I'm guessing he's going to try and get those to the end. That's very interesting. If he did pit, he would have been P7, I think, because he was in front of ACW. I think he would have been P7. ACW would have dropped down to 8. So, position-wise, it wouldn't have hurt him too much to pit, but he's elected to stay out, gain a fair bit of track position. He's now in the lead, but he's on older tyres, and I don't really know how they're going to be towards the end of the race. So Andre has left the session. Fair enough, buddy. It's not nice crashing at that corner. I've done that before in a league race. The most embarrassing thing, it was a safety car restart on the final lap, and I spun. I was in like the top 5, and I spun at that final corner, hitting the wall. Fortunately, I didn't retire, but I dropped a lot of points that night, and I was very angry with myself. I was very mad with myself. Couldn't believe I did it. No, that's quite interesting. Everyone's on the mediums, except for Pump and Roscoe on. They're on hard tyres. They're fresh tyres. But everyone else behind them, they're also on fresh tyres. So I wonder how it's going to go for Pump and Roscoe Arm here. They're at a tyre compound disadvantage, but they don't have to worry about tyre wear, that's for sure. Look here briefly at position change as well. Bags up a position. Pump and Roscoe Arm, have a go at that. 13 and 11 places respectively, and they're set to go to the end of the race as well. So they've driven superbly. Alex, he's up 7, but there's a big question mark over his out after what I saw earlier. So he might be up there, but he might not be up there after the race. BP up 3 positions, Ferrari Pro down 3, ACW down 6. Obviously qualifying in pole position. Safety car is in this lap now, so Bags now controls the field. He'll back everybody up. Hiller's down a position, Power Side up 4. And he's in a pretty nice position himself. So starting on the soft tyre proved to be a pretty okay decision on his part. Then we got Tinselman, Black Moon, Silver Fork, Plebs, and Key in 14th. See here, Bags warming up his tyres, getting ready for the restart. When does he go? Coming up towards the final corner, he's waiting. See Pump, he's trying to match him on the restart. And there he goes. Around the final corner. We're back under green flag racing. It's the beginning of lap 16 of 28 here at Shanghai. Heading down towards turn 1. Everybody's single file. No one's quite close enough to attack. The Ferrari Pro is right up behind BP, heading around turn 2. But he's not close enough to attack here just yet. Oh, he's close enough to hit him though. There at turn 3. Around turn 4 we go. Up and around turn 5 go the leaders. Into the hairpin of 6. No one quite close enough to do anything at this point. Though, Bags, he's dropped down to 3rd. So he's made a mistake at the exit of the hairpin. And he's dropped down to 3rd place. It's now Pump from Roscoe. That's the top 2. The hard tyre runners. Up towards the chicane of 11 and 12. A lovely aerial shot here. Get to see the landscape around this circuit. Around the sweeper of 13 onto the straightaway. Bags is close and he's using a fair bit of battery too. Heading into the hairpin. Bags shows the nose. He's looking. Is he committed though? He's committed. He's looking down the inside. Roscoe gives him plenty of room. Bags gets good drive, but so does Roscoe. They're side by side heading towards 16. They're side by side entering 16, and it's Bags in front. Alex is having a go here as well. He's drawing alongside the Alfa Romeo, heading down the main straightaway towards turn 1. And here's BP V8 down the inside of Roscoe. Into turn 1 we go. Into turn 2, BP is into 4th. And Ferrari Pro, he wants a piece of this action as well. Looking around the long way at 3 into 4. And Roscoe from 2nd place has dropped down to P6. Going to make that P7 now as ACW looks down the inside. Oh, and Hilles almost hits the back of Roscoe there into the hairpin. That was awfully close. Oh, but poor Roscoe just getting bullied down to 7th place. Getting absolutely swamped. Around turn 9. Then turn 10. Mercedes-Benz 1-2 at the moment. It's a 1.3 second margin. There's Pump, there's Bags, there's Alex, BP, then Ferrari Pro. That's the top 5. Then it's the 2 Alfa Romeos, followed by Hilles, Tinselman, and Powerside. That's the top 10. Still everybody's pretty close together. This is very similar to what we saw at the beginning of the race. Everyone really close to one another. It's going to be difficult to capture all the action as Roscoe is going to be overtaken by Hilles now. Look at that, the Aston Martin going around the outside. Roscoe can do nothing. Around the final corner, DRS is now enabled. We've got 11 laps to go here at Shanghai. Still a lot of racing to go through. Around turn 2 now, it's tight hairpin. Around turn 3, a little bit of lag there, probably on my end. Exiting 4. Heading around turn 5 into the hairpin of 6. Alex just isn't close enough. Silverford overtaking Black Moon. That was for P11. He did that at the hairpin of turn 6. Plebs overtaking Black Moon. That's at the entry to turn 7. So there's no holding back from those further back. They're trying to claw their way towards the top 10. Try and score some big points. Oh, it's Bag. I think Bag's overshot the corner there. Yes, he has. He's lost 3/10 to his teammate. Exiting 13. Down the kilometre-long straightaway. BP will get a bit of DRS. So will Alex, so will Bags. As they close in on our race leader. Oh, as BP almost goes in the back. And there goes Ferrari Pro. Oh, I thought he was going to have a go there down the inside. But unfortunately, he wasn't quite close enough to make that work as Alex cuts all of turn 16 there. My goodness. Heading up towards final turn, first turn I should say. Around turn 2. Bag still hanging on, only just. Exiting turn 4. Up towards turn 5. Alex just losing a little bit of ground, just not getting the exit he needs out of turn 4 to try and attack into turn 6. Roscoe, now he's got Tinselman right behind. Oh, I'd hate to be Roscoe. Just have all these cars that have quicker tyres all over your gearbox. Won't be a great feeling. Tinselman looking left, looking right, but through this middle sector you really can't do much. There's the leaders. Hello, leaders. Goodbye, leaders. There's the midfield. Pretty close here in the midfield, but no one... I don't think anyone's really in a position to attack. Except for maybe Roscoe, but he doesn't get the drive he needs. And here comes Tinselman. Gets a superb run out of turn 13. And actually, look at the straight line speed of that Alfa Romeo. Pulling away, and now the Alpine's coming back. Up towards the hairpin. Tinselman really sending it, locking up into the hairpin. Roscoe leaves plenty of room again. And Tinselman gets the drive he needs. Alex overtaking Bags now. That is for second place. He's done that on the main straight. Now Alex, he has the job of getting by Pump. Around turn 2. Plebs has gotten past Power Sight. That's a lot of P's all in a row. Patto closing in on Pump into turn 6. Yeah, just not able to get close enough to battle just yet. Have to be patient. Have to wait. Coming around turn 10. Up towards the chicane of 11 and 12. It's not quite close enough again. Alright BP, what have you got for me here? No, the car in front has got old tyres. Will he go for a move? You can see Bags as well. He's got that flashing red light, so he's low on battery. I can tell you BP isn't. Looking around the long way. Bags goes deep into the hairpin. Locks up a little bit as well. Cuts off BP at the exit of the hairpin. Tinselman moves into 7th place. BP though, looking down the inside into the final corner. Contact as BP moves into 3rd. Ferrari Pro going to have a go here. Gets it done really easily actually. Just that raw power of DRS down the main straight. He was able to get by as simple as pie. I was expecting more of a fight out of these two. I was preparing myself for that, but no, Ferrari Pro just drove by. Unaffected. ACW. He now has to get by Bags. He's steadily losing speed as those tyres age. Oh, and spin! Spin! He hits the inside curb at turn 7, loses the back end. And he drops down there. Oh, hello, Silverfoot. You're... Oh, and he and Plebs almost come together. Oh, my goodness. As, as he gets a 10-second time penalty for corner. Oh, I love this game. I so love this game. Dude spends however many seconds off the racetrack and the game gives him 10 seconds. Are you kidding? Anyway. Ferrari Pro closing in, and that's Roscoe Arm spinning out. Doing a bit of lawn mowing, he's come back on. Finished his lawn mowing and he's down in last place. Joining Bags, so they're going to have a battle, I guess. Who knows? Pump, Patto, BP and Ferrari Pro. All here at the front. And ACW, he's there as well. In P5, so it's a pretty tight fight. Here at the front of the field, as Plebs overtake Silverford, that is for P8. Exiting turn 4, Alex has got a run. Can Patto get by? I don't think he can. Up towards the sweeper of turn 7. Can't get it done here. So what will Alex do? All he can do is just stay behind. Not make any mistakes and then get by with the simplest way of getting by. Doesn't need to do anything silly. Still got heaps of laps to get through, so he can be nice and calculated about his move. Get by in the most efficient way possible. I think that's probably the intelligent way to go about it. Here comes Alex, he's closing in. Not using any battery, so I don't think he's going to go for anything stupid here into the hairpin, and he doesn't. Pub doing a great job on those hard tyres, showcasing that those tyres aren't too bad compared to the mediums. So Pump driving very nicely. 6 laps to go here in Shanghai. Coming towards this race's climax. Around turn 4. Up towards the hairpin of 6. Alex isn't close enough. What about Ferrari Pro? Oh, he's going to have a go! Down the inside into the... There's contact! And Ferrari Pro spins! Well, half spins. The effect is all the same. He loses time, he loses position. Down into 5th now. 2.8 seconds behind ACW. It's now a battle of 4 at the front. Now, I'm not going to be a judge of something like that. I'll leave that firmly to the Race Spec stewards. Was Ferrari Pro far enough down the inside? Was BP more entitled to the corner? Who knows? I'll leave that to the stewards. But what I do know, Ferrari Pro is 2.6 seconds behind ACW, and I think his fight for the win is all but over unless there's a safety car. Or there's something amazing that's going to happen between these 4. Either or. I'll take either one. But still, Pump out in front. He's doing a superb job on those hard tyres. Driving his own race out there. Looks relatively unfazed. His bag has... Oh, another one. Same point on the racetrack. Oh, and we have a safety car. Well, all I had to do was open my mouth, and the racing gods, they have provided us with a safety car. I can't see him from here, unfortunately, but he's crashed in the exact same spot as Bags and Andre and... Oh, sorry. He's crashed in the same spot as Bags and... He's crashed in the same spot as Andre and Ghost Rider. Eventually I got it right. With 3 drivers crashing at the same corner. Right. Now Roscoe hopped onto a set of softs. That's a logical thing to do. In his position anyway, he's at the back, he's in 13, might as well. The interesting thing we have to worry about is what the front runners are going to do, especially these four. Do they pit, put on the soft tyre, and go flat out at the end? Or do they stay out and keep track position? Who's going to take the risk? Who's going to pit, put on those fresh tyres? Who's going to stay out? Let's find out. Pump is the first car. He stays out. Alex goes in. He dives in. So does BP. ACW stays out. Ferrari Pro stays out. Tinselman stays out. Gilles dives into the pit lane. Oh, this is fantastic. We've got a mix of drivers. We've got a mix of drivers doing all sorts of things. Silverfoot staying out. Key going into the pits. Black Moon going into the pits. Power Sight, he goes in as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars pitting. 7 if you include Roscoe Arm. And 6 cars staying out. Oh, fantastic. I love it. So it's basically an even split. Down the middle. Oh, who's made the right call? Oh. Now, that safety car will stay out for another lap, I reckon. So, it will come in at the end of lap 26, which will mean we'll go back on the green flag running on lap 27. That'll give us 2 laps of racing. That's it, and that will decide everything. So then, the only pro that the soft runners have is the soft tyre and how quick it is. They will be setting qualifying times out there. They'll be pushing 110% and making every overtake, no matter how stupid it may seem, work. That's their game plan anyway. In terms of execution, well, I suppose we'll find out in a few moments' time. For the medium runners, they've got a track position advantage, and the fact that DRS will not be available to any of these guys. So they've got 2 advantages that can help them out with track position, with no DRS being available. But these guys, they've got the soft tyre, they're fresh. The cars are very light. They're effectively in quali trim. Oh, who's weighed up the risk? Who's made the right decisions? This is going to be a fascinating conclusion to this race. All thanks to that red Mercedes-Benz coming out last minute. I think we were going to get a fascinating conclusion anyway, with the drivers at the front, or relatively close to one another. But this has dialed it up to 11. Right, we're just waiting on Roscoe Arm. He's pulled up to the back of the train, so we should be getting back on the green flag running next lap. Don't worry, Bags. Everybody makes mistakes. It happens. Like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, I've done it myself. In fact, in this very scenario, in this exact scenario, I was in the top 5 and I spun out at turn 16, the same spot you spun, on a safety car restart, and I ruined all the progress I made over the course of that race, and I was filthy with myself. So, no, it happens. It happens so easily. All it takes is one minor lapse in concentration. Safety car is in this lap. There's the call. 2 laps. 2 laps. That's all we've got. No, that curve does not like F1 cars at all. Quite right. Right. 2 laps, 11 kilometers, 32 corners. Sort this all out. Pump is in the lead, followed by Ferrari Pro, followed by ACW, dear me. Then Ferrari Pro, then Tinselman, Plevs and Silverfort. They're on old rubber, but they got track position. You got the cars behind on soft tyres. They've got a lot of work to do, but they're going to be incredibly rapid. Let's see who's got this right. We're about to get back under some green flag racing here. We're just waiting on Pump to go. And there he goes. Around the final corner we go. He's coming up to the line. We begin lap 27 of 28 here at Shanghai. We got 2 laps to go. It's a fairly solid restart from Pump. He's got half a second to ACW, who has got Ferrari Pro right on his gearbox, heading around turn 1 into turn 2. Look at the send there from Pleb. And running wide is Tinselman. And spinning is Hilles. He spins out at turn 2. Silverfort has spun out, I think, as well. Has he? No, he has not. He's just lost the position to Alex, who moves into P5. Around turn 5 we'll go into turn 6. Silverfort tries to go down the inside, can't make it work. Keeg looking around the outside of turn 6. He moves himself into P8. Now, meanwhile, Pump still out in front. ACW still behind in second. Ferrari Pro still in third. Or the back end stepping out there in that Mercedes. Sector 2 yellow flags. Is that Tinselman maybe? Couldn't quite tell. I think it was. Alex making an overtake on his teammate Pleb. Oh, a bit side-by-side action between BP and Silverfort as BP moves into 6th place. The soft runners are charging, but do they have enough kilometres left to try and get to the very front of the field? Let's find out, shall we? Pump with a 3/10 margin to ACW, who is dispensing every percentage of battery he has to try and close in on the race leader. Into the hairpin we go. Around turn 15. Oh, contact between the two. That backs up ACW towards Ferrari Pro and, more importantly, Alex Patto, who is right behind the Ferrari. Here we go. The beginning of lap 28 of 28. The final lap here at Shanghai. Pump still leading. ACW still in second. Ferrari Pro under threat as Alex is going round the outside of turn 1 into turn 2. Can he keep it there? He'll have the inside line at 3. He does. Ferrari Pro gives him room. Very respectful racing between the two. And Alex is into 3rd place. Up and around turn 5 for the final time. Into the hairpin of turn 6 for the final time. Ferrari Pro sending it. He locks up. There's contact between the two. Colossally, there's contact. And BP moves into 3rd place. And Alex can't fight back. He cannot do a thing. Into turn 7. Around turn 8 we go. Up towards the double left-hander of turns 9 and 10. 3/10 separating BP and ACW. But Pump, unbelievably on those hard tyres, is still hanging on. What a drive from him. Through the chicane, through turns 11 and 12. Around the final bank sweeper of 13. A bit of contact behind going on in the midfield. Exiting the sweeper. BP is now into 2nd place. ACW slots into 3rd. Look at this, using every percentage of battery they got. ACW in the slipstream. He looks to the inside. He'll go deep. He'll go very deep. But BP goes even deeper. They're side by side. Contact. ACW half spins the car. And Alex, he's going to try and get through. But he can't. ACW cuts him off. But what an effort. It's going to be a drag race to the line. But it's Pump 46 who wins the Chinese Grand Prix by 3/10 of a second. ACW claims the final podium spot in 3rd. What a finish. What a race. Alex in 4th, Ferrari Pro in 5th, Plebs in 6th, Roscoe Arm in 7th, Silverfort in 8th, Powersight in 9th, Black Moon rounds out the top 10, Hilles in 11th, Keegan 12th, and Tinselman will be our final finisher in 13th, and he's going to finish in some style here in the barrier. He'll be classified. He met the lap requirement. It'll be all right. Oh. Fair enough. That is an unbelievable effort on the hard tyre. I didn't think Pump would be able to hang on, but he most certainly did. That is an amazing effort. Made up a lot of positions over the course of the race. We'll look at that in the final results screen, but soak this in. What a victory for Pump 46. Oh. Oh, BP, what an effort to come back from the midfield to finish in second place. From 8th on the grid, making up 6th place. Look at that. 14 places made. Started second last. Finished first. Not a bad day in the office, if I do say so myself. ACW finishes on the podium. Back-to-back podiums for ACW, so he'll be pretty happy with that. Alex in 4th. A questionable 4th because of his reset. Ferrari Pro 5th. Plev 6th. Roscoe Arm in 7th. Followed by Silderfault, Powersight, Blackman, Hillers, Key Dog, and Tinselman you saw crash out at the final corner in 13th. Non-finishers, Bags, Andre, and Ghost Rider. Pretty solid efforts from Roscoe Arm and Plebs and Alex as well, making up a few places over the course of this one. Oh. 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 How about that? Oh. Might get the top 3 in for a chat, shall we? Can have a talk about what happened over the course of that one. How about that? That was certainly a finish I wasn't expecting. I said at the beginning of the stream, Shanghai is pretty well known for being mediocre. That wasn't mediocre at all. That was incredible. But I'll be back in a few moments. Chat, I'll invite the top 3. We can have a nice little talk. Appears they're not appearing online. Either that or I don't have them as friends, which is a bit surprising. Surely a pump. No, really. I've got to send out some friend requests, I guess. Oh, we'll get ACW in first. See if we can get the other 2 as well. Where's a double underscore? Hello, BP. I haven't chatted to you in a while.
The point again lately.
Well, good to see you back. How was it out there for you?
It's tough. It was pretty tough, especially when the person in front of you for half the race is on that 1-bar connection and you can't go near them. And when you do, you get wing damage.
Yeah, no, that's never easy. I had a few friends of mine deal with that with me recently. I think because of the thunderstorms here in New South Wales, I've been getting fairly average internet connection of late. So, yeah, no, I know how bad that would feel. But other than that, how was it out there, BP?
Well, I had a very messy qualifying. My plan that I had didn't work, and I got a very good launch. I managed to get to P3 on the first lap at least. Mm-hmm. And the entirety of the softs and the first medium stint, I was pretty much in tyre conservation mode the entire time. Mm-hmm. I was pretty much just lifting off every right-hander, just taking it easy, because I could see everyone was just dying on the softs to begin with.
Yeah, no,
and that end, I was a bit iffy whether I want to pit or not for the softs.
What influenced your decision then?
My wing damage.
Well, yeah, no, fair. Fair enough.
Yeah, I had wing damage. I was driving around with it for probably like 6, 7 laps.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to just keep within DRS. But yeah, the wing damage and then a last minute dip from Alex in front. It was like, oh, God's sake, I'm stuck behind him again.
But no, I think. How did you get past Alex? Did he make a mistake?
Ferrari, after Alex got around Ferrari, then Ferrari went for the almighty Ricciardo send.
Yeah, turn 6 and
around there, and I could see it wasn't going to work, so I immediately just put the lock stops on and just because I'm on the fresh soft, so just lock stop rotated the car and just managed to get both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I could have had the win, but just I had to use too much ERS defending off ACW on that final straight.
Yeah.
I was really hoping he would just like let me be, so I can, because I was gonna get the drive off the hairpin anyway, so I don't know why go for it, because I'm always going to get the better drive with the really fresh softs. And I might have had enough ARS to go for the win if that didn't happen.
I suppose in that sort of situation, everyone's just going for broke. They're not really taking
pretty much
any sort of scenario. So they just go for it. So I suppose that's why he did that. But were you surprised how well you cut through everybody?
Not really, considering the amount of laps that everyone else had been out for.
Yeah.
And the fact that we had fresh softs, against like old stuff here, it's seconds a lap difference.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I wasn't surprised about. Yeah, so I wasn't too surprised about getting how it happened, the speed they had against them, but it was still hard getting around because obviously everyone's fast enough to hold their own.
You'll be here for next week, yeah?
I should be, yeah.
Next week we'll be at Canada, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. How do you think you'll fare?
I've got a terrible omen at Canada. I just... I either spin or crash at that place.
No, I find that quite relatable, actually. I am terrible at Canada.
I don't mind the track. It's one of the good tracks on the calendar, but...
in real life, for sure. It's like S-tier racetrack, but as a driver, having to deal with all the chicanes and how easy it is to either lose control or get a warning, it's, quite infuriating to go through. But no, very fine effort tonight, BP. Congratulations on your second place finish. And best of luck next week in Canada.
Yeah. I think ACW's joined, so...
Has he? Oh, the notification didn't pop up. Are you there, ACW? Yes, no, maybe?
Hello.
Hello. How was it out there for you today, ACW?
Not fun.
Not fun. Why is that?
GT wheel for F1 is not very good.
GT wheel? What you got?
Because my Ferrari wheel broke.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's unlucky.
Can't downshift.
Oh, right.
So.
Well, you adapted pretty well. I mean, you got pole position to start off with. It was only a 10th in it, but you got it pretty early. How was the lap? Pretty decent on your end, or more time to
First two sectors are good, but I lost probably like 3/10 in the final sector. The hairpin I missed apex, and final corner didn't cut it properly enough.
Fair enough.
Lost the back end.
But no, the race start was pretty decent. You were out in front, if I recall correctly, after the start. How was it out there for you today?
I was trying to try and get in front, build a gap, because I wasn't expecting many to know about soft medium. But just couldn't pull away from the 1 second from Ferrari. So I decided to save ERS.
And you know that the car behind, when it's within a second, there's no way you can get rid of it just with DRS. But you made the decision as well to stay out on the medium compound tyre. Can you explain your reasoning first of all, and do you think you made the right choice in the end?
I think I made the right choice in the end. Everyone, because I wasn't expecting many to pit, because it just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Like 2 laps.
A few laps ago,
Yeah, there's just 2 laps left. although there's huge tire advantage, I thought not many went to pit, so they had a lot of traffic, which in the end was kind of. But yeah, tires were dead at the end.
I
Just
imagine.
lucky Carnage behind kept third place at least.
But no, were you surprised with how many stopped then? Sounds like you might have been.
Yeah, I was definitely shocked, especially with how BP and Alex went in. They were crashing into each other.
Yeah,
His connection's very difficult. Actually, get near. Like, I had wing damage because of it. Like, I had wing damage like halfway through the stint after the safety car, so I pretty much had to pit that end stage.
Fair enough then. But in a similar question to BP, next week we're at Montreal at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. How do you think you'll fare at the Canadian circuit?
Normally Canada's a strong circuit for me.
Yeah.
But that's when there's racing line on.
Fair.
So,
Fair.
probably not too strong with no racing line.
And with the GT wheel as well that
Yeah.
you've got. Yeah. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if you somehow put it on pole position, because that's just what you do.
It's more about the race though.
That is true. That is very, very true. But has Pump joined us? I'm not sure.
No, he is not.
Oh, I really wanted to chat, because that was a hell of an effort on those hard tyres to keep everyone at bay.
All of us are bashing each other, so he
Each
just got
other up,
away.
and he just drove away out in front. Yeah,
He was just chilling.
but he was also hanging on to that lead before the safety car as well. He was leading a train of cars at the front, so
Yeah, it would have been a
Alex was
crossover point where the hard tyres might have been better.
yeah, then the mediums, quite true. It would have been
I think
fairly
Alex
close.
was just saving ERS to be honest. He
You
wasn't.
think so?
Yeah.
Well, I think Alex is going to be in a bit of trouble because he did a cheeky reset to track that I saw, so...
No, yeah, I was going to get him if the safety car didn't happen.
Uh,
The first one.
Now, those two safety cars helped everyone else so much but me.
I didn't like him. I was in a good position.
yeah, it's not nice when you put yourself in a nice place and then safety
Especially
car
when-
comes out and it's like, well, there goes all that hard work.
Especially when Alex spun out and the safety car just saved him.
Yes. That's very true. But no, thank you to gentlemen for joining me here for a bit of a chat. Congratulations on your second and third place finishes, respectively. But,
Thank you.
Now we move on to next week, and I suppose one final thing: a massive congrats to Pump 46. I believe that's his first race win in Race Spec. I'm not sure, but that was a great effort to come from 15th on the grid, do a medium hard race, and then to win. That's a really great effort. It can't be understated. So no, congratulations, Pump, on a superb victory here at Shanghai. But I believe, everyone, with everything said and done, it's time for us to end the stream. Tune in throughout the week as there's still plenty of racing to come here on Race Spec Esports, but for Pacific Elite, we'll have to wait until next Sunday. Until then, I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you for round 3 of the championship at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix. Goodbye.